You know, if Call of Duty is going to keep adding things that are really annoying to die because of or from directly, I'm gonna have to invest in separate controllers just for spiking off the carpet. Alright, so I wasn't gonna make a video for today, but whatever, it's 2:42 AM, the night's still young, and I thought I'd complain about the two new perks being added to Vanguard Season 1 Battle Pass. Let's dive into that first. The Season 1 Battle Pass containing perks. On the one hand, I would much prefer just having normal challenges to unlock these perks, because I know that's what's going to happen once the season is over. The perks are going to be moved to a category in which you have to complete a challenge to unlock them, and I think that's how they should be by default. I also don't like the idea that somebody might waste their money trying to get the new perks as fast as possible. They buy the more expensive battle pass and then some extra tiers, and yeah, it's not really scummy. I just don't like the idea that people are going to do that because, one, they might get the perks before I do and use them against me, which would be annoying, but on the other hand, I'm just gonna look at that person and go, God, that's a huge waste of money. One bullshit, please. Because while I'm not a big fan of the perks they're adding to the game, they are not going to replace things like Ghost or High Alert or Forward Intel or Lightweight or Tactician. They're not going to replace those perks. You're not going to win more games and play better because of the perks I'm about to describe, but I do have concerns about these perks anyway. The first perk I'm going to talk about you unlock at tier 44, and it's called Intuition. This one is essentially High Alert, but it goes off when an enemy is near you. Now, they compare it to High Alert, but they also compare it to Piercing Vision. Now, Piercing Vision kicks in when you're shot at, so when you're shot at, people can see an outline of you if you aren't running the Dauntless perk. But I don't know if this new Intuition perk is going to work like that. Is it going to highlight me and put a little outline around me so the enemy can see exactly where I am and aim at head level? Or is it going to work like High Alert and give them a sort of vague indication of which direction I'm stomping my little feet around? In which case I imagine that the counter perk will be Dead Silence. The truth is, Intel wins gunfights, and in close range it can be pretty beneficial, especially with how powerful some of the SMGs and shotguns are, and the pistols are for that matter, in this game. But I can see this being useful in domination extensively, seeing how so many B flags in this game are tucked away inside of some sort of building, structure, room, or whatever. Being able to run around inside the interior of a hotly contested building and get a notification when an enemy is going to be on your left, right, or forward, or God forbid, a full outline of them because you're near them, that can be pretty deadly, and I kinda don't want to deal with that and have to counter that every game. And because these are new perks being added to the Battle Pass for the first time ever, I feel like people are going to use this a lot, and it's going to get old trying to counter it. It just occurred to me while recording this that some people have real jobs and this won't affect their life at all. But the way I'm going to counter these people is with my Demolition Charge S-Mine trick, because, well, yeah, duh. They're proficient in close quarters, it's in tier 2 hopefully, so they can't run engineer. It's a match made in heaven for me and my little sneaky trick. The next perk I'm not a fan of at all. You unlock this perk at tier 21, so quite a bit earlier, and it just breaks my main rule for Call of Duty. And I don't think that's fair for them to break my rules for Call of Duty. My rules! I personally believe that flinch and bullet damage should be sacred. If you are going to increase your bullet damage, I think you should have to run an ammo type or something that decreases some other stat, like your accuracy, your ammo count, your rate of fire. And Vanguard balances their higher damage rounds pretty well. You're usually trading some level of versatility to deal out more damage per bullet, and that's how it should be. But what I don't like is when you can just increase the amount of damage you're dealing. But even worse than that, I hate it when somebody reduces the amount of damage they're taking. I can't even look at you. Serpentine reduces your damage while sprinting, and apparently it goes up to 25% the faster you're sprinting. We don't know how this works yet. We don't know if running with an LMG will only give you 8% damage reduction, and then maybe tack sprinting with a knife gives you the full 25 or higher. We don't know how Serpentine works yet, and until we do, I will reserve my judgments and I'll make a new video talking about whether or not it's overpowered or not. But imagine if somebody was to stack a perk that reduces the amount of damage they take with armor plates, stim shots, and the frenzy proficiency, which of course gives you health regen every time you get a kill. I don't like armor being in this game. I don't like attachments that change how much flinch you dish out and receive because I believe it adds inconsistency. And just the irritation factor that comes with Call of Duty, it's so high already, you don't need to make it more high by giving people more of those "how the fuck did you not die" moments. Having a perk that reduces the amount of ballistic and explosive damage you take when you're just running, that's frustrating, and it only does it by, I believe, up to 25%, which in my head is mostly going to affect longer range engagements, so people are going to have to put an extra shot into you at ranges, and in my opinion, if you are already sprinting at a range in a game that has bullet velocity as a stat, why should you be even harder to kill? That doesn't make any sense to me. And then in most other cases, I just don't think it's going to be that useful, because if you're in closer range, I don't think you're going to survive a 2-tap from my M1 Garand or, a solid aimed shot from my shotgun. I don't think you're going to be able to survive a 2-tap from my 1911. You get what I'm saying. If I 3-line rifle you, I've 3-line rifled you, and you're not going to survive it. So this perk is simultaneously useless, but also mixing in a fair amount of inconsistencies. Now, both of these perks, Intuition and Serpentine, have to be tested. I need to dive in and test these perks and get down to the bottom of how they're behaving so that I can properly judge them. But by the descriptions, I don't think we need to give shotgun users a perk that gives them more intel for free, as it says, passively, and I don't think that there should be a perk that makes you slightly harder to kill sometimes. Everybody has one shared frustration in Call of Duty, and it's a vague one. It's those sort of gunfights where you go, how did they not die? You don't need perks and field upgrades and weapons and attachments that make me shrug my death off and go, oh, how did he not die? I just don't like inconsistencies. I don't like any version of stopping power, juggernaut, body armor, ballistic vests, you name it. If it makes my gunfights potentially, that's right, I'm throwing potentially on this, if it makes my gunfights potentially less consistent, I don't think it has any business being in the game. It adds nothing to the formula, and I feel the same way about it I feel about stuff like incendiary ammo or all of the different things you can do to flinch in Vanguard. I don't like them because they add weird inconsistencies and frustrating moments where you wonder, why are they not dead? How did I not knock him off target? What's going on? These perks aren't inherently broken, bad, and I don't even hate the way they're being implemented, but the more perks you add into your game that make your players go, how did he know I was there? How did he not die? The more frustrating moments are going to happen. Moving on. This video's over. We're moving on to the end of the video. We're moving on to an end screen. It's now telling you what videos you can watch on my channel. Click on either of these links, it really helps me out. Goodbye.